Randy Orton burst onto the scene in wrestling with all the charisma and talent of a future Hall of Famer.
He was extremely cocky.
But behind the bright lights and grand entrances, there was a darker side to the young Orton. His early years were marred by a string of controversies, from being kicked out of the Marines to his run-ins with the law.
It wasn't good.
It seemed like trouble followed Randy wherever he went, like a shadow haunting his every move. Ah, the legacy. The faction that sent shockwaves through the wrestling universe. Led by Orton himself, this group was a force to be reckoned with. But as the saying goes, power corrupts, and it wasn't long before the dark side of Randy Orton began to seep through. Betrayals, backstabbing, and mind games became the norm, as Orton's thirst for dominance drove him to new heights of ruthlessness. The legacy may have been a dominant force, but it was also a glimpse into the dark heart of Randy Orton. One of Orton's most infamous personas was the Legend Killer, a moniker that struck fear into the hearts of wrestling legends everywhere. As he systematically dismantled icons like Mick Foley, The Undertaker, and even his own father, Orton's dark side shone brighter than ever. It was a reign of terror that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The Legend Killer may have been a character, but it was a chilling glimpse into the mind of Randy Orton. As the Viper, Randy Orton's dark side reached new heights of depravity. From his heinous attacks on unsuspecting opponents to his sadistic mind games, Orton's bite was as venomous as ever. His cold, calculating demeanor and ruthless tactics made him a force to be feared in the ring. But behind the facade of the Viper lay a darkness that few could comprehend. A darkness that consumed everything in its path. Born on April 1st, 1980 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Randy Orton was destined for greatness from the moment he entered this world. With a lineage that includes his grandfather, Bob Orton Sr., and his father, Wrestling Hall of Famer Bob Orton Jr., wrestling was practically in his blood. But don't be fooled by his prestigious lineage. Randy didn't have an easy road to the top. From a young age, he was a troublemaker, constantly getting into trouble at school and dealing with legal issues. As Randy entered the wrestling scene in 2002, he quickly rose to fame as the Legend Killer, a moniker that struck fear into the hearts of wrestling legends everywhere. From taking out icons like Mick Foley and The Undertaker to dishing out punishment to his fellow wrestlers, Randy Orton proved that he had the skills and the ruthless attitude to dominate the ring. His signature move, the RKO, became a household name, striking fear into the hearts of his opponents with its lightning-fast execution. One of the most iconic feuds in wrestling history is undoubtedly the rivalry between Randy Orton and John Cena. These two titans clashed both inside and outside the ring, with each match pushing the boundaries of what was possible in the wrestling world. Their matches were filled with drama, suspense, and enough twists and turns to keep audiences on the edge of their seats. And let's not forget the epic showdown at WrestleMania 24, where Randy Orton proved once and for all that he was a force to be reckoned with. But it hasn't been all smooth sailing for Randy Orton. Throughout his career, he has been embroiled in countless controversies. From his heated feuds with fellow wrestlers to his personal demons off the mat. His backstage antics and questionable behavior have often landed him in hot water with wrestling management, leading to suspensions and public outbursts. And who can forget the infamous Orton pose, where he would strike a provocative pose over his fallen opponents, taunting them with his signature smirk. But it wasn't just in the ring that Randy Orton's dark side reared its head. Behind the scenes, tales of backstage politics, manipulation, and egotism followed Orton like a specter. His reputation for being difficult to work with and prone to outbursts became the stuff of legend, painting a picture of a man consumed by his own demons. The dark side of Randy Orton wasn't just a character, it was a reality that few could ignore. One of the main reasons why other wrestlers can't stand Randy Orton is his unapologetic arrogance. From his entitled demeanor to his constant swagger, Orton has a way of rubbing people the wrong way. Whether he's trash-talking his opponents or flaunting his championship belts, there's no denying that Orton loves to be the center of attention. And let's be honest, no one likes a show-off, especially when it comes to the competitive world of professional wrestling. But wait, there's more. Another reason why other wrestlers hate Randy Orton is his questionable behavior behind the scenes. Rumor has it that Orton has a reputation for being difficult to work with, often throwing his weight around and causing drama in the locker room. Whether it's refusing to put over younger talent or throwing temper tantrums when things don't go his way, Orton has earned a reputation as a troublemaker in the world of wrestling. And let's not forget about his infamous pranks and practical jokes, which have left more than a few of his colleagues less than impressed. Now let's talk about Orton's in-ring style. While there's no denying that he's a talented performer with a unique blend of power and agility, some wrestlers can't stand the way Orton operates in the ring. From his methodical pace to his reliance on rest holds and chin locks, Orton's matches can sometimes come off as slow and formulaic. And let's not forget about his signature move, the RKO, which has been accused of being overused and predictable. While Orton has certainly had his fair share of epic battles, some wrestlers believe that he could use a bit more creativity and innovation in his performances. The Orton family legacy. While Randy Orton comes from a long line of wrestling royalty, including his father Cowboy Bob Orton and his grandfather Bob Orton Sr., some wrestlers believe that he's ridden on the coattails of his famous last name. Whether it's getting preferential treatment from management or coasting on his family connections, Orton has been accused of not earning his spot in the industry through hard work and dedication. And let's not forget about his history of backstage politics, which have alienated more than a few of his peers. It's safe to say that not everyone is a fan of the Orton wrestling dynasty. Randy Orton's personal conduct has also come under fire from his fellow wrestlers. From his controversial social media posts to his checkered past, Orton has a history of making questionable decisions both in and out of the ring. Whether it's his well-documented issues with substance abuse or his volatile temper, Orton has a reputation for being a loose cannon who can't be trusted. And let's not forget about his turbulent personal life, which has been a source of gossip and speculation for years. It's clear that Orton's actions have not endeared him to his colleagues, who often view him with a mixture of suspicion and disdain. But even the most seasoned wrestlers can find themselves in hot water with the company, and it looks like Randy Orton is no exception. It turns out that during a recent live event, Orton decided to take matters into his own hands and go off script. That's right, he went rogue in the middle of a match, deviating from the planned storyline and doing his own thing. And you know how wrestling management feels about that kind of behavior? It's a definite no-no. Needless to say, wrestling brass were not pleased with Orton's antics. They take their carefully crafted storylines very seriously, and any deviation from the script is seen as a direct challenge to their authority. So in a move that surprised exactly no one, Randy Orton was hit with a hefty fine for his insubordination. The exact amount of the fine has not been disclosed, but you can be sure it's enough to make even a top-tier superstar like Orton sit up and take notice. As the years went by, Randy Orton's dark side began to catch up with him. From suspensions for misconduct to public outbursts on social media, Orton's reputation took a hit. The once golden boy of wrestling found himself tarnished by his own actions, his dark side casting a shadow over his storied career. It was a fall from grace that few could have predicted, as Orton's demons finally caught up with him. In conclusion, the dark side of Randy Orton is a complex and multifaceted beast. From his early years marred by controversy to his reign of terror as the Legend Killer and the Viper, Orton's dark side has been a constant presence in his career. Behind the cool facade and the flashy entrances lies a darkness that few can fully comprehend. The dark side of Randy Orton is a cautionary tale of the perils of fame, power, and the demons that lurk within us all. And as we close the chapter on Randy Orton's dark side, one thing is clear. The Viper may have struck fear into the hearts of his opponents, but it was his own demons that proved to be his greatest foe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned for more deep dives into the dark side of the wrestling world.